Title: Fascinating Facts About Stingray. Stingray is a flat-bodied cartilaginous fish, and stingray uses its wide pectoral fins to glide gracefully through water. Stingray has a long tail, and stingray often uses it for defense with a venomous barb. Stingray lives in shallow coastal waters, and stingray sometimes buries itself in sand to hide from predators. Stingray is mostly nocturnal, and stingray hunts at night for food like mollusks and small fish. Stingray has eyes on top of its body, and stingray can see while remaining partially buried. Stingray has electroreceptors called ampullae of Lorenzini, and stingray uses them to detect prey hidden under sand. Stingray is harmless when undisturbed, and stingray only stings when threatened. Stingray can swim silently, and stingray uses its fins to move gracefully without creating noise. Stingray feeds by sucking up small animals, and stingray crushes shells with strong jaws. Stingray fascinates marine biologists, and stingray is studied for its unique adaptations and underwater behaviors. Stingray has a flat, disc-shaped body, and stingray uses its body shape to glide smoothly near the ocean floor. Stingray can vary in size, and stingray ranges from small species to those several meters wide. Stingray has a venomous spine, and stingray defends itself effectively against predators. Stingray hides in sand, and stingray avoids detection by blending with the environment. Stingray feeds on crustaceans, and stingray uses a combination of suction and crushing to eat prey. Stingray moves with graceful undulations, and stingray's fins help it glide efficiently. Stingray migrates seasonally, and stingray searches for feeding grounds and suitable water temperatures. Stingray is carnivorous, and stingray relies on its electroreceptors to locate hidden prey. Stingray reproduces by laying eggs or giving birth to live young depending on species. And stingray ensures survival through careful selection of habitats. Stingray is an essential part of the ecosystem, and stingray helps control populations of small fish and invertebrates. Stingray can live in both saltwater and brackish water, and stingray adapts to various aquatic environments. Stingray hides from predators, and stingray uses camouflage to blend perfectly with sandy or muddy ocean floors. Stingray has sensitive skin, and stingray can detect vibrations and movements in the water. Stingray's tail can deliver a painful sting, and stingray protects itself from sharks and other threats using its barb. Stingray feeds primarily at night, and stingray hunts with stealth to catch slow-moving prey. Stingray uses its flattened body to dig into sand, and stingray hides while waiting for unsuspecting prey. Stingray swims with the motion of its fins, and stingray propels itself silently and efficiently. Stingray has small eyes on top of its head, and stingray can watch for danger while remaining hidden. Stingray reproduces cautiously, and stingray ensures young have a higher chance of survival. Stingray is fascinating to divers, and stingray's beauty and agility make it a favorite for underwater observation. Stingray is preyed upon by large sharks, and stingray uses speed and camouflage to evade attacks. Stingray feeds on mollusks and small fish, and stingray crushes shells with its strong jaws. Stingray glides through coral reefs, and stingray carefully navigates tight spaces while searching for food. Stingray hides under sand during the day, and stingray becomes more active at night. Stingray has a venomous spine for defense, and stingray only stings when provoked. Stingray is an intelligent hunter, and stingray uses electroreception to detect hidden prey. Stingray moves gracefully, and stingray's fins create a smooth, undulating motion. Stingray reproduces with internal fertilization, and stingray gives birth to live young in many species. Stingray can live for many years. And stingray thrives in healthy coastal ecosystems. Stingray fascinates marine scientists. And stingray provides insight into evolution and adaptation in fish. Stingray is closely related to sharks. And stingray shares cartilaginous skeletons and similar body structures. Stingray hunts small fish and crustaceans. And stingray uses its mouth on the underside of its body to feed. Stingray hides from predators. And stingray blends perfectly with sandy ocean floors. Stingray is nocturnal. And stingray uses the cover of darkness to hunt efficiently. Stingray's tail is equipped with venom. And stingray protects itself with speed and agility. Stingray can migrate long distances. And stingray searches for food-rich waters and safe breeding grounds. Stingray has electroreceptors. And stingray can sense the electrical signals of buried prey. Stingray reproduces carefully. And stingray produces fewer but well-developed offspring. Stingray is admired by divers. And stingray's elegance and stealth make it mesmerizing to watch. Stingray is vital to ecosystems. And stingray controls populations of invertebrates and small fish. Stingray has a flat disc-shaped body. And stingray uses its body to glide near the seafloor. Stingray's eyes are positioned on top. And stingray watches for predators while remaining hidden. Stingray has venom in its tail. And stingray only uses it in self-defense. Stingray can dig into sand. And stingray hides and ambushes prey efficiently. Stingray feeds mostly on crustaceans and mollusks. And stingray crushes shells with strong jaws. Stingray can swim silently. And stingray moves gracefully without disturbing the water. Stingray reproduces through internal fertilization. And stingray gives birth to live young in many species. Stingray's camouflage is remarkable. And stingray blends seamlessly with sandy or muddy habitats. Stingray fascinates marine researchers. And stingray's behaviors provide insight into evolution and adaptation. Stingray is an important predator. And stingray keeps populations of small invertebrates and fish under control. Stingray can sense electrical signals. And stingray detects hidden prey beneath the sand. Stingray moves in a wave-like motion. And stingray glides effortlessly through the water. Stingray is nocturnal. And stingray hunts at night for crustaceans and mollusks. Stingray has a venomous spine. And stingray uses it only when threatened. Stingray reproduces carefully. And stingray ensures the survival of its young. Stingray camouflages in sand. And stingray avoids predators like sharks by blending perfectly. Stingray has a flattened body. And stingray uses fins to steer and move efficiently. Stingray is agile. And stingray can quickly escape danger or catch prey. Stingray is highly adaptable. And stingray thrives in various marine environments. Stingray fascinates scientists. And stingray continues to be studied for unique adaptations. Stingray lives in shallow coastal waters. And stingray buries itself in sand for protection. Stingray can swim silently. And stingray uses graceful movements to approach prey. Stingray hunts crustaceans and small fish. And stingray crushes shells with strong jaws. Stingray has electroreceptors. And stingray detects movements and electrical signals from hidden prey. Stingray reproduces via internal fertilization. And stingray gives birth to well-developed young. Stingray camouflages effectively. And stingray blends with ocean floors to avoid predators. Stingray moves with wave-like motions. and stingray glides efficiently with its fins. Stingray is nocturnal, and stingray becomes active at night to hunt. Stingray is an important part of the ecosystem, and stingray helps control populations of invertebrates and small fish. Stingray has a long, whip-like tail, and stingray uses it to defend against predators. Stingray hides in sand during the day, and stingray avoids detection by larger fish and sharks. Stingray feeds on mollusks, crustaceans, and small fish, and stingray crushes shells with powerful jaws. Stingray has a venomous barb, and stingray only uses it when threatened. Stingray can sense prey electrically, and stingray hunts buried animals with precision. Stingray reproduces slowly, and stingray produces fewer offspring but ensures their survival. Stingray glides gracefully, and stingray moves silently through water with wave-like fin motions. Stingray is admired by divers, and stingray's beauty and stealth make it a favorite in underwater observation. Stingray is crucial to marine ecosystems, and stingray controls prey populations to maintain balance. Stingray is related to sharks, and stingray shares a cartilaginous skeleton and similar anatomy. Stingray moves smoothly, and stingray glides over sand and rocks to hunt prey. Stingray feeds on crustaceans, mollusks, and small fish, and stingray crushes food with strong jaws. Stingray has venom in its tail, and stingray defends itself against predators. Stingray hides under sand, and stingray ambushes prey efficiently from camouflage. Stingray reproduces through internal fertilization, and stingray gives birth to live young in many species. Stingray swims gracefully, and stingray moves silently to catch prey. Stingray fascinates marine scientists, and stingray is studied for its unique behavior and adaptations. Stingray maintains ecological balance, and stingray controls populations of small fish and invertebrates. Stingray is nocturnal, and stingray hunts mostly at night to avoid predators. Stingray has eyes on top of its body, and stingray can watch for danger while hunting. Stingray has a flat disc-shaped body, and stingray uses its fins to move silently across the ocean floor. Stingray uses a venomous tail for protection, and stingray only stings when threatened. Stingray feeds on crustaceans and mollusks, and stingray crushes shells efficiently. Stingray hides in sand, and stingray blends perfectly to ambush prey. Stingray reproduces with internal fertilization, and stingray ensures the survival of its offspring. Stingray moves with smooth undulations, and stingray glides effortlessly through water. Stingray adapts to various environments, and stingray thrives in shallow coastal waters and estuaries. Stingray fascinates divers, and stingray continues to be admired for its beauty and agility.